Good morning, dear students. Today we'll discuss physiology of posture. In the previous lecture, we have learned regarding physiology of muscle tone. So, what is tone? It is basically partial state of contraction of muscle at rest or resistance of a muscle to a stretch. Now, let's see what is the posture. It is basically adjustment of tone for various body movements. So this adjustment is basically reflexly. So they are called as postural reflexes. So when we are doing any activity, standing, walking, sitting or writing, that time constantly body tone is adjusted for the body movement. So these are reflexes called as postural reflexes. Now objectives of today's lectures are to find at what are the level of integration of this reflexes and what are these postural reflexes. First and for basic is the stretch reflex, which is we know that it is at level of spinal cord. Other is cross extensor reflex, reciprocal innervation. So these three are at the level of spinal cord. So by experiments we'll try to find this. Then hindbrain level, there are two reflexes, tonic neck reflex and vestibular reflexes. Then if you go just above level, at midbrain it is a writing reflex. So we'll say what is the writing reflex, and at cerebral cortex there are two reflexes called as placing reaction and hopping reaction. This is our most basic sketch which we must remember every time. Our spinal cord, this is the muscle which is having a muscle spindle which is called as a sensory receptor on the muscle, giving response to a stretch or change in length of a muscle. Sensory nerve, this is the alpha motor neuron which is supplying the extraphyseal fiber, which are the principal fibers taking part in muscle contraction. This is our gamma motor neuron which is supplying the muscle spindle. So whenever we are stretching a muscle by giving a tap or by a tendon jerk, muscle will get stretched, impulse generated at the muscle spindle. This will be carried along the sensory nerve to alpha motor neuron and muscle will contract. It is called as a reflex action or a stretch reflex. Now if descending tract stimulate gamma motor neuron, this will indirect lead to muscle contraction through again sensory nerve and alpha motor neuron. And lastly, when there is stimulation of gamma alpha motor neuron through descending tracts, muscle will contract directly. So it is called as a final common pathway. So these are the group of muscles in the body. So this I'm just doing group of muscles in the head region, head neck region, group muscle at the neck region, and these are the group muscles in the body. So grossly we have divided the body in the three regions: head, neck and whole body. So basically reflexes are generated from the different parts. So level of integration: midbrain, pons and medulla. This is the vestibular apparatus, which is the organ of balance, sense organ of balance. So basically somatic motor activity depends on the pattern and rate of discharge of lower motor neuron, that is our alpha motor neuron, which can be a spinal motor neuron or a cranial nuclei. These neurons are bombarded by impulses from descending tracts. Basically it is integrated activity of this multiple inputs from spinal cord, medulla, midbrain and cortical level. So these four levels are influencing our alpha motor neuron that regulate the posture of the body and makes coordinated movement possible. So basically posture is adjusted continuously, not only before but during movement also, by descending brainstem pathways and peripheral afferents. In intact animal, individual motor responses are submerged in the total pattern of activity. I'll just give an example. Suppose now we are in a daylight room where we are having electrical bulbs of different volts. One is a 0 bulb, other one 10 watt, 15, 20, 100 watt also. So in all this light, if the 0 light is on, we don't recognize it also, it is there. Even if it is on, we don't recognize it. But if you come down in the night, even the zero will tell yes, light is there. So similarly, there are so many reflexes are constantly happening, but which are submerged in the other reflexes. So if you want to find it out what is the contribution of each, only thing is that we have to separate them or stop all of them. Just like if you are coming in the night in this lecture hall at 2 a.m. where there is no light at all, nothing in that, even if you just on your mobile, you will see it is having a light. So that significance of mobile light will come when there is no light in the room, but in the day you will not recognize it as if there is light. So similarly, so many reflexes are constantly happening. There is change in tone in different moments, but not seen because of higher influence. So we'll try to find it out by the experiments. So we'll see now regulation of posture at different levels by different experiments. So first now we are doing a preparation of spinal cord. So spinal cord is cut so that the influence of all this is now gone. So it is called as spinal preparation or spinal animal. Now obviously in this animal what will happen, as the influence of cortex is gone, basal ganglion is gone, cerebellum is gone, so we'll have rigidity. All hypotonia, muscle tone will be very much increased. So now in this animal we'll try to get, so this is the spinal preparation. So we'll try to elicit the reflexes. Only spinal cord is intact. Now in this here we are giving a tap, impulse generated, it is going, and we'll see muscle contraction. So you can see its muscle contraction is there. That means stretch reflex is present even if cortex, basal ganglion, cerebellum, everything is gone. So that means level of integration of stretch reflex, which is the most basic postural reflex, is spinal cord. Now the second one, we are giving a tap on the one side of any flexor muscle, impulse generated in the muscle spindle, it will go to the spinal cord. Now it will go to contralateral side also. So it is going to this muscle also. So see what will happen. Both will contract. This is contracting as well as this is contracting. But here the flexors are contracting, here the extensors are contracting. So it is called as the crossed extensor reflex. Means if you are doing flexion of one limb, automatically there is extension of other limb. Normally we are not recognizing because of cortical influence, we are unable to see this one, but it is happening normally. Classically, you can see in this, see, whenever you are doing a flexion of your knee joint, automatically there will be extension of your other leg. This is the physiological phenomenon actually. You are doing flexion of one knee, automatically there is extension of other knee. So it is called as a crossed extensor reflex. This is again present in spinal animal. Now third one, which is again a basic one. Now here we are giving a tap to one group of muscle, impulse going to spinal cord. Now it is going to antagonist muscle also. So you can see this is contracting and this is relaxing, lengthening. Okay. So this is called as reciprocal innervation. If flexion in one, there will be extension on the antagonist muscle. So this is again at level of spinal cord. So here you can see in this, one group of muscle is, and this is the antagonist group of muscle. So at the spinal cord, we have seen that three basic reflexes are present in spinal animal when there is influence of top is gone: stretch reflex, crossed extensor, and reciprocal innervation. Now we'll move up a little bit up. We're going from down to up now. We are going in this direction. We have found the spinal cord's reflexes. This is our vestibular apparatus, which is having connection with the brainstem region. So this is the vestibular spinal tract. Now at the neck, the group of muscles are there. So these are the two tracts, reticulospinal. Now we are taking a section below the midbrain. So that means hindbrain is intact, hindbrain spinal cord. So that means it is called as a hindbrain preparation. Now in this, obviously there will be decerebral rigidity because influence of cortex and basic ganglion is gone. So all reflex of spinal cord will be present. Plus in addition to that, we'll see two more reflexes are there. So animal will have decerebral rigidity. All four limbs will be tight extended. Now in this, we'll do movement of neck. But for that, what we'll do now, we'll remove the influence of this first. Because when we are moving the neck of an individual, obviously it will give stimulation to the vestibular apparatus. So we are cutting this vestibular nerve. So that when we are moving the neck, there will not be any influence of this coming here. Now, if the neck is flexed, you will find that the forelimb gets flexed. So this is naturally present, but here classically it will become evident. When the neck is extended, hind limbs get flexed. So just you can see a cat which is looking down like this. See what is happening. There is a flexion here, extension here. So it is a natural response actually. When the cat is drinking milk also, you will see there is flexion of the forelimbs, extension of the hind limbs. So it is basically because of neck movements. See, when the neck is extended, you will see there is extension here, flexion there. So these are the natural things present but submerged. So these are called as a tonic neck reflexes, and in that we have removed the influence of vestibular apparatus by cutting the nerve. We will see what is the influence of vestibular apparatus. This will discuss in detail during our lecture of equilibrium and balance. So this is the vestibular apparatus which is having different receptors in that one. This is the ampulla. I'm going fast here because during our lecture of equilibrium we'll discuss in detail. So when we are doing a neck when we are moving the head, so this will all move. So because of that there is stimulation. So now again we'll have a hindbrain preparation. So this animal will have decerebral rigidity. Okay, it will be there. All reflex of the spinal cord will be present. Now in this we are cutting the neck nerves. Sensory nerves coming from the neck muscles are cut so that when we are moving the neck, there should not be any influence of tonic neck reflex. And vestibular apparatus is intact. So now this animal, if you see, if animal is placed on the back, rigidity is maximum. When it is turning on one side, rigidity decreases. Animal placed in prone position, rigidity is minimum. So actually when we are lying down on the bed, turning on different sides, our tone automatically changes. Muscle tone changes with our body movements, but we don't feel it. The reason is that again we are under cortical sub. Because of the influence of so many reflexes, they are not visible. But in hindbrain preparation, where effect of cortex is gone, you will see all this are present. So in a cats we observe when they are having rigidity is maximum when cat is placed on the back, and when we make it prone, rigidity is minimum. So these are called as vestibular reflexes. So like this in the hindbrain we are having two reflexes, tonic neck reflex arising from the neck muscles and tonic vestibular reflex arising from the vestibular apparatus. Now we'll take a cut just above the midbrain. Now this animal, if you throw, this animal will have again decerebral rigidity, but if you throw this animal in the air, it will come back in original anatomical position, that is called as a righting reflex. If you throw a mid-collicular, if animal which is having a midbrain, if you throw in the air, especially if you see frog, the frog is having a typical posture when it is sitting. That is called as anatomical position. So each and every animal is having some anatomical position. So if you throw this animal in the air, it will come down in anatomical position only. That is called as a righting reflex. Now if you take a cut now here, when midbrain is removed, only hindbrain preparation, animal will not write. That means this righting reflex is regulated at the level of midbrain. Because when midbrain is present, righting reflex is present. When midbrain is removed, that is, we are doing a hindbrain preparation in that animal will not write. So righting reflex is at the level of midbrain. So this is arising from so many receptors, vestibular apparatus, tonic neck, from body, at so many places there is origin of righting reflex, but integration is at the level of midbrain. Lastly, these two are from the cortex. So this is visible especially when a person is coming down with a parachute. So this typical posture is called as a placing reaction. So when you are placing down from a height, classically there is a semi-flexion. You can see in this is the posture. So it is called as a placing reaction. Foot placed in supporting surface in the body to support the body. Other one is hopping reaction. So if some person is standing which is pushed from one side, he will hop and stand again. So limb displaced while standing, hopes to maintain the body posture. So it is called as a hopping reaction. These two are again absent in decorticate animal. That means if you cut the cortex, these two decorticate animal, these two will be absent. So this animal will not show. No spinal shock, rigidity is mild, hypothalamic function is normal, placing reaction, hopping reaction, both are absent. So that indicates that these are integrated at the level of cortex. So to summarize, postural reflexes, stretch reflex is most basic from the spinal cord, cross extensor, reciprocal innervation, these three are integrated at the level of spinal cord. Hindbrain, tonic neck reflex, tonic vestibular reflex, means reflex adjustment of tone, and midbrain, righting reflex, and at the cortex, hopping and placing reaction. So here we have finished the postural reflexes.